Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win, you find a way to lose. This whole discussion about the ring size. Canelo want a smaller ring. Crawford doesn't care if he fights in a large ring, small ring. Fans saying Canelo destroys Crawford, whether in a 20-foot ring, 22-foot ring, 18-foot ring, 16-foot ring. It doesn't matter. Canelo's the all-around better fighter, better brawler, better boxer, has better IQ, etc. The Crawford fans are going to say the same thing. The one thing that I'll say is they both have skill, they're both elite, they both have IQ. Footwork goes to Crawford, but in every other area, I mean, it's up for debate. But just understand this, okay? First of all, welcome to the channel. Like and subscribe, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and leave that donation for the fried rice and chicken wings. I think today we need to dive into one of the most overlooked but potentially game-changing elements of Crawford and Canelo a little deeper. And of course, I'm talking about the ring size, man. Now, we know Canelo has publicly demanded for a smaller ring, okay? We know how Crawford how he responded. He just kind of smiled, he smirked with a huh. But understand this. Make no mistake, this isn't just banter. It's a strategic battleground between Canelo and Crawford, and that's exactly what that ring represents. Now, conventional wisdom says a small ring favors the pressure fighter, so you would think it favors Canelo. Less space to move, more chances to trade. You got to give the advantage to Canelo. But what if I told you a small ring could actually benefit Terrence Crawford? What would you say about that? Well, let's try to break this down and understand. Now, most fans think a big ring is going to equal a slick boxer's paradise. Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali, Shakur Stevenson, the boxer puncher. The small ring could equal a brawler's dream. A Maidana, Arturo Gatti, what's his name? A Canelo, what's his name? Zepeda. All these brawlers, right? And Providnikov. I like Providnikov, boy. But you would think that the small ring would equal a brawler's dream, and that's often true, but not always. Now, ring size doesn't just affect movement. It affects timing, rhythm, angles, and psychology, something I've been talking a lot about in a lot of the videos I've been doing, and expect 1,000 more to come on Crawford and Canelo until they get in the ring, because it's such an interesting matchup. Now, Crawford deserves more respect than what people are giving him. Now, understand this. I'm telling you Canelo's a bad boy. Like, we all know that. But Crawford is a bad boy, too. But he's not just a mover. He's a master of space control. You watch Crawford in fights. He doesn't run. He's orchestrating. And in a smaller ring, he could actually force Canelo into predictable patterns. He could actually cut angles more efficiently and set traps faster. You see, because when Crawford's fighting, he doesn't use all of the real estate inside that ring. He may actually be executing the game plan and putting the bing-bings on fighters, maybe in more of a 12-by-12 ring. Because you see, he's not utilizing the whole ring. So that lets you know Crawford doesn't need to be in a 20-by-20 to dominate opponents. So think of this like my son. All of my sons learned how to play chess. And I had an idea, but I play with them from time to time. They kicked my ass. But just think of Crawford and Canelo in a small ring like being on a smaller chessboard. Less room to hide, but also less room to escape. Crawford's counters. Faster engagements, people. Crawford thrives on timing. In a small ring, those exchanges can happen a lot quicker, meaning Canelo starts getting touched up a lot faster and more than what he expected. and fans would be sitting in the audience, especially the Canelo fans, mouths agape, tongue hanging out their mouth, probably wrapped around their head, dragging across their scalp, with saliva hitting all four corners of the goddamn room. Now, Crawford can bait Canelo into overcommitting, something Canelo will do when he realizes I'm not touching this guy, I'm not getting to him. He will start overcommitting. And next thing you know, Terence Crawford will land counters before Canelo resets. This is a reality of what could happen. Of course, the smaller ring, you would think, conventional wisdom tells us, should benefit Canelo, but I'm giving you guys, real world, conversation about how Crawford has done this to opponents before, and he could do it to Canelo. Now, the angle mastery that Crawford possesses. Look, man, he's a switch hitter. Everybody knows that. Lateral movement allows him to pivot and reset even in tight spaces, and Crawford's one of the few fighters who can hit you while he's moving. Canelo cannot do that. His feet have to be set. If he's trying to hit you while he's moving, he'll sit there and trip all over his damn feet and fall in the ring, probably chest to canvas, ass in the air like at a Diddy party. But a small ring will force Canelo to chase. Crawford can use that momentum against him. Now when Canelo's coming towards Crawford, all that energy, all that momentum, Crawford counters him. That's like double the effect, the impact of the blow Crawford's delivering. This is all bad for a guy like Canelo. And then setting those traps. Crawford loves to lure opponents into traps. Canelo sets up his punches pretty good too, though. But especially against the ropes. In a small ring, he can walk Canelo into a corner and explode with combinations. Those long arms, he's going to be able to get to Canelo, and Canelo's not going to be able to react quick enough. And when he does choose to react, Crawford's going to be out of there. And probably one of the most important things is something that I love to talk about, is psychological warfare. If Crawford agrees to a small ring and still dominates, it just sends a message to everyone. I mean, even in the goddamn heavyweight division. You can stack the deck against Omaha, Nebraska's finest, Terrence Bud, put the bing bings on your Crawford. Stack the deck against me and I'll still beat you. He's going to have Alexander Usyk heading back to Ukraine, jumping in one of them bunkers saying, shit, I'm not fighting Crawford. So the mental edge could be devastating. Now, there's been a few examples of where the smaller man, gets in there using the skills that a guy like that Crawford has to get the win. In a standard ring or in a smaller ring. When Mayweather fought Canelo, we all know how that went. It was angles, pivots, and timing to frustrate Canelo. You know what I'm saying? And that was in a standard ring, but he could have done to Canelo what he wanted in a smaller ring. And Crawford could definitely replicate that blueprint in a tighter space. Sugar Ray Leonard against Marvin Hagler. People keep forgetting. Leonard demanded a 24-foot ring. He used every inch to outmaneuver Marvin Hagler. But imagine if Leonard had been forced into a smaller ring. His footwork and timing might have still carried him. I just happened to watch that fight 3 days ago. I said, let me watch this. Leonard was moving and moving and moving, but his timing, I was like, he doesn't need to move like that. So I definitely agree that Sugar Ray Leonard against Hagler in a smaller ring, Sugar Ray Leonard would have still had moments, and I still think he could have won that fight. Now, some people think Hagler won, but, it is what it is. Rocky Marciano and Don Cockle, this is in 1955. Some of y'all may not know about this, but they fought in a 16-foot ring. Now, that's crazy, which was ideal for Marciano's pressure style. But Cockle, the smaller man, used a tight defense and short counters to survive longer than expected. Then Andre Ward and Kovalev. Ward was a smaller man, used inside fighting and body shots to break down Kovalev. Crawford could do the same, especially if Canelo's stamina fades late, which more than likely it will. So those are just some examples of smaller fighters against bigger guys and being in smaller rings or in standard size rings where they perform much better than expected because all the advantage, when we're talking ring size, was to the larger man. But with a guy like Crawford, you just got to recognize the unique skill set he brings to the table. Now, I'm going to do a video about Canelo Alvarez. For all your Canelo fans, y'all don't get in the comments and start going at it and shit. I'm going to do one about Canelo. It's going to probably piss off the Crawford fan. But you know, that's what I do on my channel. We just conversate. Crawford has that unique skill set. He's not just slick, he's adaptive. Fight inside, outside, mid-range, whatever, you name it, he can do it. We all know about him. You know, I watch Crawford. Crawford doesn't telegraph when he's going to switch stances. He's just moving, and then with the great footwork he has, next thing you know, he's from southpaw to orthodox, orthodox to southpaw. It's seamless the way Crawford switches stances, because while he's doing that, he's reading his opponent like a book. And the opponents are so busy watching Crawford thinking he's going to get hit, they don't even realize that he's changed his stances. So in a small ring, these skills that Crawford possessed could become amplified. Less space, it just means faster reads, man. Crawford's brain works at the speed of light. If he has more time to think, well, I mean, of course, that's a benefit to him. But with less time to think, that's not going to affect him because the way he processes data. Shorter distance, mean he's just going to, not have a delayed counter. He's going to counter quicker because he has to. And tighter quarters mean more chances to exploit Canelo's defensive lapses. So just keep all that in mind, and one thing for sure, let's not forget Crawford's power has carried up from 135 to 147. At 154, he beat Majumov, and he hurt Majumov. Crawford isn't a dumb fighter who's just going to necessarily go all in and look for the kill. Crawford knew not to try no shit with Majumov because Majumov was strong. But he did what he had to do to win. Don't be surprised at that. Don't think that, Crawford put duck sauce on the fried rice. He was ducking that confrontation. He ducked the mashup crash-up with Majumov. He didn't want to get into a mashup crash-up. Crawford is the kind of guy who's going to win by any means necessary. And that's what he did, and that's what he plans to do when he gets in there with Canelo. So don't be surprised if all of a sudden Crawford's power at 168, if it holds up. I understand the 10-ounce gloves. I understand he's putting on weight. But I'm not saying he's going to come in there hitting harder than Canelo. I mean, I'm not going to take it to the stupid. But Canelo could be in for a surprise. Especially if he starts getting tired. That conditioning and stamina. Canelo has shown signs of fatigue. The longer the fight goes, the more of a chance Canelo may look to, jump up out the ring and head back to Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. I ain't even here to talk about Bivol. We saw how that shit went. But I think Crawford can do everything Bivol can. Just Bivol was bigger. But in a small ring, Crawford can keep Canelo working constantly. He can target the body early. He can force Canelo to throw more than he wants to throw. See, the thing, Canelo likes to slow shit down, put things on cruise control, and fights at his pace. But if Crawford can control the pace, even in a small ring, Canelo could get gassed out and Crawford could take over late. Or Canelo could go, buck wild and just start, free swinging and trying to knock out Crawford. And then, tire himself out because he figure I'm in a smaller ring now. This is to my advantage. I'm going to blast him out of here and show him, I have the speed. And then Crawford bing his ass. So the X factor, look, man, Crawford's greatest weapon, it's not speed or power, man. And this is the thing people keep forgetting. Oh, Canelo's size and Canelo's power. And, man, intelligence, IQ, has a lot to do with how the fight develops, right? And I think what you're going to see round after round, no matter the ring size, is as far as Crawford, gradually you'll see his IQ show up. And you're going to just see the distance he has IQ-wise from Canelo. And don't get me wrong, Canelo is brilliant, but I just think for Crawford there may be a bit more brilliance there. He'll make the adjustments mid-fight. I'll even say this, if he survives the first 4 or 5 rounds, he's going to make adjustments, especially if it's a bit uncomfortable in there. He's going to make adjustments because he's downloading data, and then all of a sudden he's going to just take off. And he's going to start to exploit the weaknesses of Canelo. and the fight's going to change. And in a small ring, he'll have less space, and that's a fact, but more control. He can now dictate where exchanges happen. He can dictate when they happen. Shit, Crawford be able to dictate when they end. So Canelo may think in a small ring, Tom and Jerry, I'm Tom, that's Jerry, Crawford's a mouse, I'm going to trap his ass. Nowhere to run, I got you, you Crawford mouse. But shit, Crawford may be trapping Tom, Canelo. So this is about Tom and Jerry, cat and mouse. This may be about the mouse and the cat. Crawford may be trapping him. So here's the twist. Canelo wants a small ring. He thinks somehow he'll be able to corner Terence Crawford, force him to fight, break him down, put the Guadalajara and Jalisco bing-bings on Crawford. But look, man, when you're talking about Crawford, he's not just a slickster. He's a tactician, a predator, a problem. He's from Omaha, Bing-Bing, Nebraska. And in a small ring, he might just prove, what, a lot of us know, that, greatness isn't just about space. It's really about strategy. But I think the conditioning is going to have to be on point for Terence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, man, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Try to do 2 more videos before I go get my kids. They're back in school. Expect me to start going live about 10 o'clock every day, 10, maybe 11 o'clock. Because I get the boys off to school, then I exercise, I go run. I'm lifting weights again now. They're back in school, I got the time. And then I'll go get cleaned up, take a shower, eat something, and then go live at 11 o'clock every day for like an hour. But days I go to the boxing gym, because they got a boxing gym to be going to, I may go live from the boxing gym, during the workout or after the workout. And just talk boxing while I, hit the speed bag and jump rope and bullshit. So we could just chat while I'm working out. Anyway, if you like this breakdown, hit that subscribe button, become a member to the channel, drop a comment, let me know what's up. Is Canelo setting a trap, or is he walking into one? I tend to think he's walking into one. All right? Y'all keep cool. In the breeze.